Hello, basketball coaches and basketball players. My name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to talk to you about the weaknesses in a zone basketball defense. So hello everyone, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training. On this channel I show you basketball plays, drills, and skills. So if you like that stuff, hit that like button and subscribe. But anyways, today I'm going to talk to you about some weaknesses in a zone defense. So let's get down to the clipboard and let's check these out. Okay, so some strategies that you can use against a zone defense. Okay, so first, a zone defense is when the defense is guarding an area instead of an actual player. So you can use this to your advantage. For one, if the defensive team is not very skilled or maybe not very disciplined, what you can do is have your players stretch a bit farther out so that now their defense is more spread out, which now leaves your lanes wider so that now you can drive, which is now another way that you can beat a defense, is to drive against the holes in the defense, which now, especially if they're not a very disciplined team, they will collapse on you, which will now leave lanes open for other players to attack. Which leads me into my next line of ways of beating a zone defense. Now, another way to beat a zone defense is to, again, attack those openings and to drive the ball, and now it's called driving and dishing. So now you can dish it out to players who are open along the perimeter. So by driving and dishing the ball out, you can now create more openings. So now player 4 needs to pop out. Player 5 is getting screened in the post. Now player 5 from the far side can now come over and now be wide open in the low post. Player 2 will then clear out and he'll have a nice open layup to be had. Now, there's many other ways of beating a zone defense as well. Another way you can beat a zone defense is by swinging the ball around as quickly as you can. Now, the idea behind this one is to get the zone defense off center. So now, by passing the ball around as quickly as possible, now they need to shift their zone over and back multiple times. And now what you're hoping for is to have a player who's wide open. You can do a skip pass over for the 3-point shot. Or he could then drive because there's an opening in the lane, which then collapses the defense. And now you have a 3-point threat out here. You have a driving threat here. And it opens up many different opportunities. And this is all with having all 5 of your players outside of the 3-point line. Now, let's talk about loading or overloading one side of the zone defense. So this is a very standard offense that you would be running against the 2-3 zone, which is a very standard defense that's being ran in youth basketball. And of course, they're going to be playing a bit higher. And what we're going to have now is loading or overloading the side. So what we're going to have is player 1 passing to player 3, and we will have then player 4 popping up to that high post. Player 1 is going to move over, player 3 is going to move over, player 2 is going to be guarding the center, player 5 is moving down, and player 4 is going to then be popping over. So now, we may have player 4 who's open in the high post. If that's the case, feed him the ball. The reason? Now player 5 needs to show up, or player 3 is going to pop down, in which case player 3 blue can then pop down to the low corner. He could be open there. Player 5 could be open. We could have multiple different options. We could even have player 3 or who could move down. We could have player 1 who could be then moving over to the opposite side, so that now player 4 can go into or drive towards the middle of the key, draw the defense up to him, and now he has 2 3-point options on the corners, a possible 3-point threat in this other corner, or he could lob the ball up to player 5 depending on how player 5 red is playing it. So there's multiple different options that come from an overload offense. Or you could run a super overload offense, and let me show you what I mean by that. Now, if the opposing team is running a 3-2 zone, I run what's called a super overload offense. And how I run that is by having player 1 pass to player 3 blue, and then player 1 is going to go down into that low corner, and player 4 is going to be popping up at the same time. Player 2 is going to go to the key extended right in that area. And now what we will have is multiple different options. We may have player 4 open, we may have player 1 open. We could have many different options. And then if we pass to the post, we're going to have player 5 and 3 collapse on player 5. And now we might have possibly 2 options open at the 3-point line. We could have an option open at the 3-point line. We could have player 4 open at the high post. We could have another option at the 3-point line if player 2 moves up to the point. And there's even more options that are open now as well. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys again tomorrow for another daily basketball video.